Good morning, everyone, and welcome again. This time it's to episode 13 of Wake Up and Make Up with Grace Givens. We are going to play today with some makeup, and we're going to talk about how you must be very, very careful with your doctors, okay? You must know your situation and be prepared to defend yourself. You all heard about, through my video, what happened with me with the surgeon. It was a terrible experience, right? And a miraculous occurrence happened when I was able to meet my angel doctor, Dr. Artenian, who was able to do my surgery and do it with a robot with a lot less invasive stuff. It was really a good thing. This other doctor hadn't even cared as to whether or not I lived or died. I'm sure of it. Now, after my surgeries were all finished, the one in November and the one on my chest in January, the agreement I had made, because my PET scans and my scans were extremely clear, except for the place in the anus, which we knew was there for sure, and also the place in the chest that was right between my lungs and closer to my right side of my lung. Now, I was advised that I could choose between radiation in that area or surgery. I was also advised that radiation would be kind of tricky because there was an air passage on one side of it and a big blood vessel on the other. Excuse me, my allergies are getting me. Try to cough that up. And so I chose surgery, which the other hospital had told me was not even an option for me because it was an inoperable tumor. It was a tumor within a lymph node, which isn't a good thing. I mean, I can admit that to you. But it was contained, and that is a good thing. And so I chose to have surgery, even though I was warned that it would be a very difficult surgery. Nevertheless, one false move with the radiation, and I was in big trouble. So I decided I'd have the surgery. And that was going to be it, unless for some reason I didn't come out clean with the lymph node, in which case then I would actually have to have radiation and probably chemo, although the chemo for this kind of surgery is very, very touch and go. Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do this thing right under my eyelids that I do. I've put on my base, just because it takes up time. But I'm going to put this under my eyelids and powder it so that during the day I don't smudge like I would ordinarily do, because I am a smudger par excellence, if you know what I mean. So this, and I powder it, it brightens up, and I only powder right up here, so don't worry about creating lines. It's just right up there, okay? Where am I? So I chose to have that. I had the surgery. Boy, it was painful. I think I told you that in the last episode. But it wasn't debilitating. It didn't make me tired, and I wasn't breathless. It was just hurts, It feels like you had broken ribs. Those claws of that robot went right through all my ribs and all the way around the back. They collapsed my lung, and so that they could. And then they put an extra large tube down my throat, which is horrible for a singer, but they had to because they had to provide more air for me since they had collapsed my lung. It was a rough surgery, but I got through it. And I went back 2 weeks later. The doctor came out and told my husband that it was very clean and that thank goodness that little tumor had been hard, that little lymph node had been very hard, and it just smoothly glided right out on that robot's fingers, and it was clean. And he took 12 lymph nodes and a small piece of my right lung, and everything was clean as a whistle, and he wasn't worried about it. But of course, everything had to be biopsied, and I would go back in 2 weeks for the final pathology report. We were very happy, okay? So I got through the pain of it, and pretty soon was back right on my feet, but going slowly. And then it came time for the day for me to go for that, and I did. But before I did, I got a phone call from the radiation department, and they said that I was scheduled for marking and, what did they say? Marking and something. Anyway, for my radiation treatments. Radiation treatments? I think you have the wrong name. I'm not doing radiation. I did the surgery, and because my scans and my pathology seem to be that I'm clean, I don't need radiation, and I don't even know what they'd radiate, frankly, because he took it. So please just, they said, well, this doctor just insists that you have to have radiation, so you'll have to talk to him, the radiologist, that is. So I said, okay, I'm happy to talk to him. Well, we'll set you up for an appointment tomorrow at 11:30. I said, okay. So I go in to see my lung specialist, and he comes in and he says, well, he says, as we hoped, the pathology is perfectly clean. And now, you know, I can't pretend that there's not a chance that a cell broke off somewhere and that you might not have a recurrence again. It can happen. And so, but are you still comfortable? You can choose to have radiation, but, you know, that's just up to you. Just if you want to feel like you want to do it, that's fine. I don't recommend it. And I said, well, I thought we agreed that I wouldn't have radiation, that once you took it out, if it was clean, I should just save radiation for when I really need it. Because, friends, once you have radiation, you pretty much eliminate your chance for any kind of surgery or treatment in that area again. It's dead. You know, radiation kills everything around it. So he said, well, that is my recommendation. I do believe that, but I just want to tell you, you can have options. I said, well, it's really funny because that doctor, oh, I'm moving things so I can't see my whole face here. I hope you can. That doctor had his people call me and tell me that they were scheduling me for marking for radiation, and I didn't know what that was about. He said, oh, I'm supposed to meet with him tomorrow at 11:30 to talk about it. He said, well, just disregard that. I'll take care of it. I don't know how. They just made a mistake. And I said, okay, fine. So I go home, and I'm taking my afternoon lie down, which at that point I was needing to do every day, and I get a phone call about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's from none other than the radiologist. Actually, it was the next day because I had missed that appointment. And so it's from the radiologist. And I figured he was calling me to wonder why I hadn't shown up. And maybe my surgeon had forgotten to tell him. So he said, I said, oh, I'm so sorry if you were expecting me, but I didn't come because I thought my doctor was going to call you. But since he didn't, I will tell you that I really am not going to have radiation. I think there's some confusion. And this doctor starts putting a hard sell on me about how desperately I need radiation and how I am probably going to have a recurrence. And I said, excuse me, but he has taken everything out. My pathology report is perfectly clean, and I have really been through a lot. Oh, Mrs. Givens, I know you've been through so much. You've been through more than most people go through in a lifetime. Oh, wow, have you been through a lot? Yes, sir, I have. And he said, but that's the good news because you don't have to start the radiation soon. You have 2 weeks to wait. I said, I don't think you're getting my point. I'm not having the radiation. Not at this point. I agreed, and you were there, and you agreed too, that if my pathology came out clean, I did not need anything but the surgery. I chose the surgery because I knew that I had to save the radiation for a future time. I mean, I've already had a cell break off, and I already know what that's about, and I'm prepared for that. And he said, I said, and anyway, I'm very tired, and I just don't feel like doing anything right now. Oh, well, you don't have to do anything. You've got 2 more weeks. You know, you can wait 6 weeks after surgery to start radiation. I said, well, I had my surgery 2 weeks ago. Oh, okay. Well, then you can wait 4 more weeks because you can wait for 6 weeks. This doctor had not read my reports, okay? I could tell. I said, look, my reports are clean. I am not having surgery. He said, well, let's just pull up your reports and see. And he pulls up my reports, and he's astounded to see how very thorough my surgeon had been and how much work he had done in there and how clean it actually was. And so he started like tap dancing, because he was going to find a way to sell me that radiation. Eventually, and I said, have you contacted my doctor? And he said, I sent a message to the oncologist. And I said, well, I'm not really dealing with an oncologist because I'm not having chemo either. It's my surgeon that I'm dealing with right now. And so have you contacted him? No, but I intend to. And I said, well, I think it's kind of funny that you're calling me without ever contacting my doctor. And I also think it's kind of funny that you were the person that insisted that I have a scan on December 19th, and then I never heard from you or your office afterwards about the results. I had to go to my gynecologist in January to find out the results of that scan. So I appreciate your call. You said all you need to say. Bye. And I hung up. Well, friends, we are at 11 minutes, so I have to go to the next segment for you so that YouTube will like me. Okay? Please subscribe, share, comment. I need to hear what you're thinking about me. Okay? Bless you all. Bye-bye.